Kalimera, kalispera, kalinichta. No matter where in this wild, wacky, and sometimes wonderful world you might be, Happy New Year to you, squaddies. Unbeaten in 2005. Let's rock and roll. Keep believing.
Mind the gap between the train and the platform. Please stand clear of the discussion doors. The next stop is Highbury Squad.
It is New Year's Day today. Happy New Year to everyone across all corners of this earth. And I've got a confession to make. When I set the show up, this was my original thumbnail because I didn't know if I had too much to go on. So I went with the reliability factor. And then halfway through the second half, I changed it to this, which I'm pretty happy about. But let's see if my wingman and co-host today is happy about it. Welcome back to Squad Central, and joining me on this fine New Year's Day to dissect Brentford versus Arsenal, another London derby where the Gunners are victorious, Mr. James Johnson.
Hello. Can everyone hear me? I was occupied and I come in late. Can everyone hear me and see me? I'm good, aren't I? I'm clear. Am I crystal?
Yeah, I can hear you. You are loud and clear. I seem to have a little bit of a delay today, which is a little bit disappointing considering it's New Year's Day. Am I on delay for everyone? Do I look like I'm on delay?
It seems all good on my end. I don't know about everybody else's.
All right. Well, listen, James, let's do what we should do first, and that is welcome the squaddies in. Squaddies, Happy New Year, at ease, everyone. Many of you will be listening to this on replay because you have New Year's Day plans, although I don't know what plans people have on New Year's Day because you're looking at me. I'm in my onesie, and this is about it. This is as good as it's going to get today.
You're better dressed than me. My outfit, I would probably be thrown out of most establishments in my outfit right now.
Oh, I love it. Please listen to our Chief Like Officer, Tammy Steels, and hit that like button. PW's in the house. Carol's in the house. Kevin is in the house. Carol's in the house. Mrs. Thierry Henry is in the house. Runs with Cows is here as well. Barry is here. The whole fam jam is here. Trev is here. Welcome, everybody. Let's see. The Urban Ghost. Ooh, I like that. I like that very much. Ugu Quochu is here. Kev always used to love pronouncing his name. He taught me how to pronounce his name, by the way. Mark is here as well. Harvey is here with his Greek. Kronya bolla Harvey mo elpizo galanaise gali kronya gali year. That means a happy new year
what you said,
and good health. in Greek. Michael as well. Hello to everyone who's joined. Kay Marlon, Demian Ariaga. James is the goodest egg of all eggs ever hatched. Love you guys. Welcome, Demian. By the way, if you want to join, just let me know and I'll send you the link. Good evening, Sophie Squaddies. Happy New Year to our followers. Evening, James. Love Rich. Love our OG. One of our OGs. Right. Hi, I'm here, says Sean. Shawnee T. Happy New Year to you too. And Demsec has made it. Here's the scoop, James. We're going to get stuck into the game and we're going to talk about it. You and I were WhatsApping as the game was unfolding. But I'm going to tell you guys something now. And this is what annoys me that I have a delay. I may leave you with the squaddies for a second to go out and come back in to see if I get a better connection. But if the squaddies are happy and you guys think there's no delay on your end, let me know. But I can see myself delaying. And it's too an important show because I have a huge announcement to make at the very end. And at the same time, a lot of people were like, oh, you're going to give Newman a coin. That's not the announcement. But there are coins to be given away. It's New Year's Day. We're going to start the year off right. We're going to be positive. And I'm giving away the Invincibles coin. The big competition that I sent is up for grabs now. There's going to be a winner tonight. And let me tell you, I think the winner and their story is very, very worthy, James. Okay?
I'm looking forward to hearing it.
See, they're telling me I'm glitching. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go out and I'm going to come back in. So it's all on you for a couple of minutes. What do you want me to? Yeah, a couple of minutes. Well, maybe one or two. I'm glitching apparently. I may not glitch. So I'm going to leave you with your starting lineup, right? If you were happy with the starting lineup, and I'm going to duck out and I'm going to duck back in. All right, James?
Yeah, I will try and filibust as best I can on this lineup.
Filibust as best you can. I'll leave the image up for you and I'll be right back.
Okay. Right, guys. So for me, this lineup, obviously, there has been confirmation that Kai Havertz has been unwell. There was also murmurs that other players within the squad were also unwell due to a sickness bug. I think that out there today was probably the best that we could get with the squad that we've had available. I would have kept Miles Lewis-Skelly in. That's because I'm such a huge fan of the guy, even though it's a incredibly small sample size that he has played for Arsenal so far. I am a much bigger fan of Miles Lewis-Skelly at left back than I am of Calafiori. I'm sure we will touch more on Calafiori as this show continues. But yeah, I think obviously that he was going to rotate. When you have 9 games in 29 days, you're going to have to rotate at some stage. That was a bit more rotation than what I expected. But when you get confirmation of illnesses going throughout the squad, and then some players having niggles, such as Declan Rice and what have you, I think, again, that's the best squad that we could have picked from. And to get the result that we did, with no Bukayo Saka, no Kai Havertz, who's arguably our next great attacking threat to Bukayo Saka, I think that's a really, really good result today.
James Johnston. Amazing. So now I've got 2 of me. Watch this. Do you guys want to be freaked out a little bit? Which one should I remove?
It's like the multiverse.
Yeah, it's the multiverse. There's nothing I can do about this glitch today, unfortunately. It is what it is. And now I'm listening to myself, so I'm going to kick myself out. Damn. This is bad. Let's see what's happening here. Sorry, guys.
Audio-wise is fine, Sophie.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah, it's like, you know, sometimes when you watch the news channels and it comes out a bit, you know, where they're a bit slight. But other than that, audio-wise is fine.
Okay. All right. As long we're okay with that. Okay. So I agree with you on the starting 11, though. Let me ask you this. Is it proven that perhaps today...
Oh, we've lost them all together.
Here we go. Is it proven today that Miles Lewis-Skelly is better than Calafiori?
I think it was proven about 3 games ago when he started playing. So, look, I've been on other shows and I've said stuff about Calafiori, and I've been royally chastised for it. I don't like to say I told you so to people, Sophie. I really don't. But that guy cannot defend. He's brilliant going the other way, but in terms of a defensive player, he's shocking. I'm afraid to say it. He's shocking. He really needs to learn quickly how to defend, because he is suspect and teams will target him, like we've seen. Okay, he's not as bad as Zinchenko in that people will just go over the top because Zinchenko doesn't want to get involved in a duel. Calafiori will get involved in a duel. But like the goal by Mbeumo, he's backing off. I'm like, at some stage, you're going to have to engage, mate. You're going to have to engage. And he just, Lewis-Skelly isn't afraid of the duel, uses his body better. I think he's better on the ball than him. So, I totally agree with what you've said. I think Lewis-Skelly's much better.
So, you know, the funny thing, James, is that we love a shiny new toy, right? And I joked and I sent you a WhatsApp saying Zinchenko greater than Calafiori. I'm not, you know, Calafiori was great against Manchester City. He's been really good. I think that we've had a chat before, even with Josh, about Calafiori tracking back, and Gabriel's always asked to pick up everybody's sloppy seconds, right? The dude is just a machine, an unbelievable machine. And today, I think it proved that Lewis Skelly, if you look at everybody who's available, going forward, tracking back, doing it all, he seems to be the right guy for the job. But at the same time, I don't blame Mikel Arteta for resting him and managing his minutes, considering that he's just now coming into the team. Your thoughts on that?
Yeah, no, I agree with you again. I think you're spot on. I had people telling me that was a rotation that was going to be made today, and I didn't see it. But yeah, no, I think you're going to have to manage Miles Lewis-Skelly's minutes, because, like we've just said, this guy's become he's become our first choice. And I was speaking with some of the guys from Purely Arsenal that I do the show with, and they said last week that it's very reminiscent of, do you remember when we just bought Debuchy and then Arnautovic completely clattered him off the pitch, and then Bellerin come in, and as soon as you saw Bellerin, you were like, he ain't getting out of the team. This Bellerin lad he's different gravy. I think that's the same with, like you said, Calafiori's a shiny new toy, and he's a very, very good looking new toy as well. He's a beautiful man, but at the moment he's not being a beautiful defender. And one thing I'll say about Lewis Skelly is, against Liverpool, their goal that equalised, okay, it come from Martinelli mucking around up the other end of the pitch, but then Skelly was so out of position. But ever since that's happened, he's never made a mistake like it again. He's always read it perfectly since that's happened. And I don't see the same from any of our other left backs, Sophie. Kivior, as much as I still don't think he's bad, as a lot of fans do, hasn't really learned from his mistakes, still prone and can make them. Zinchenko, I won't even go there. Tierney, he's not going to play again, so there's no point even bringing him up. Tomiyasu, you don't see, Tomiyasu's now become the new Tierney. He's in federal witness protection program now. So, it's just how it is.
James, that's funny. Listen, are we being a little bit harsh too, considering Calafiori has been injury prone and he's adapting to a new league? In a nutshell.
I think that definitely comes into it, but it's the kind of mistake that he's making. And if you want to go back to the goal as well, I don't absorb Odegaard or Raya of blame either. I think they were both absolutely poor for that goal. But when you're not doing a basic of engaging with one of the best wingers in the Prem, in Mbeumo, you're going to get punished. And there was apt opportunity. I'm not saying absolutely clatter the guy, but I'm like, make it hard, close the angle down, make it hard. He just made it so easy for him.
Yeah. And people are blaming Gabriel, and people are blaming Odegaard gave the ball away. But people are blaming Gabriel for not covering, and it's just ridiculous. It was, Odegaard wasn't at his best today. I think we can all admit that. Calafiori,
I don't understand that, where because I saw people saying, "Oh, Gabriel," and I'm like, okay, well then what? Gabriel comes over, and it just leaves a massive gap in the middle. I'm like, yeah, that's, to me, that's a really silly take, because then if Gabriel does come over, you're just creating more space.
Yeah, agree. Okay, Harvey, bit harsh. He wasn't good, but we're not going to use such language and bitmojis or emojis, whatever the kids are calling it these days. Did we lose the game 1-0? I don't understand the player bashing. We're not player bashing. Demsek, just want to be sure we're player discussing. We're not bashing. And we won 3-1. Very happy about that. And you know what? I'm about to bash people left, right, and center. So be prepared. And also stay tuned for a massive announcement at the end of the show. You guys are not going to want to miss this. Seriously. I'm telling you right now, you're going to be so excited. And I'm not exaggerating like Terry from the Football Terrace. Sorry. I love Terry. Did I say that out loud? But he's the genius of clickbait. Let's just put it out there. Okay. So starting 11, let's just get to the sexy stuff, shall we? Let's get rid of this banner. Starting 11, so many fans wanted to see this guy start, and he did. And what a beautiful player. I tell you, my love for Lewis Skelly and Nwaneri is kind of like that same love that we developed for Smith Rowe and SAKA when they first came into the team. And you know why? I have labeled him Ethan Hunt Nwaneri because his mission was definitely impossible. How on earth can anyone come into the side and replace Super SAKA? How can anyone come in and have an impact on the game the way that Star Man has had over the last 3 or 4 seasons, carrying this Arsenal team on his shoulders? Another star is born. Stop me, James. Stop me now.
Well, yeah, I think you've used a good analogy there. He's certainly going to make a lot of fullbacks look like Ethan Hunts if he keeps playing the way he's playing. He has been absolutely. You know what, Sophie? I have to apologise. There was a lot of people that said about playing him out wide, and I was like, I'm not sure. You know, I think he would be better in the middle as a. I was an idiot. I was being stupid. I'll hold my hands up. I didn't know what I was talking about. He's like Saka. You could probably put gloves on him and he'll do a job in goal. He's at 17. He looks better than most men. He's superb. For me, he was our man of the match today. I know Jesus got the goal and did everything else, and I thought Thomas Partey was brilliant. But Nwaneri was fantastic. He was fantastic out there today. Absolutely fantastic.
You know, the pressure to play for Arsenal. Super Kev always used to say, you can be a good player, but when you come, the weight of the badge, right? It's not easy because you are playing for one of the biggest clubs in the world. People mistake Arsenal doing little things in the Premier League for being a little club, but they were just not doing big things in the Premier League and they're a big club. Man City, small club doing big things in the Premier League. I've always said that. And Nwaneri coming in to that role, you know, we all kind of have jobs that are high pressure. I remember, you know, stepping into a position in the film industry where I was replacing like a mega superstar PR person, and the pressure you feel is insane. So imagine being on a world stage where everyone is watching you and everyone is having these expectations, and sometimes they're mental expectations, James, because of kind of your situation and the age that he is. It's like, it's the same with SAKA, you know, flawlessly mature in ways beyond their years. Like imagine being 17, 18 and coming into a situation, not only to just start your first Premier League game, but to also deputize for one of the biggest growing superstars on the planet. It is so impressive. I'm not overlording him. I'm not being melodramatic. This is a pressurized situation. Arsenal are without SAKA, one of the best players in the world. And this kid comes in and just acts like, yeah, it's another game.
Yeah. Well, it's what I've always said, in that there's been opportunities there for some of our players that are senior internationals, and none of them have grabbed that shirt and gone, I'm having that and you've got to take it from me. But these young players have come in and they're superb. They're apt, and nothing phases them. Like Lewis Skelly, Nwaneri, both of them are just so unfazed by what's in front of them. They're not afraid. They get involved. I mean, the trust. He got the trust to begin with from us, obviously loaning out Vieira and selling Smith Rowe. That was Arteta basically going, I believe you at 17 are a better player than both those players. And then the teammates trust him. And even today, Sophie, it's probably a non-point, but I'm still going to say it anyway. He was on corner duty today. Now, corners for us are such an important facet of the game, but that we're giving them to a 17-year-old kid. And you know what? He was brilliant at that as well. His corners weren't pathetic. They still beat all the Met. There was one in the first half where they headed it back across goal, but there was no one on the post to knock it in at the end.
Mm-hmm.
And that to me just shows I'm like, the team, not just from manager and team, they trust him so much. And yeah, it's incredible because he's a really, really special player.
Yeah, he is. I wonder if this was, I can't help but think how clever Mikel is as well, and the owners. Like, we don't need to go into the market. We've got a replacement for Saka.
No. Don't think like that. Don't think like that.
I'm just saying.
Harvey's made the comment, James, it's taking corners, it's basic. Look at when Martinelli takes him. He can't even beat the first man sometimes. It's not basic, trust me. That is a facet to Arsenal's game that we are using to our advantage better than any other team around the world at the moment. That it's not a basic.
Yeah. Okay, we'll see. Everyone's saying no, Soph, no way, don't go there. And by the way, yes, Kevin and Archangel, this is my rocking chair. It's my Khaleesi throne. Anyway, we move on. We'll get to that. I'll name this account later. What a brilliant account name, by the way. 200 of you in live chat, hit that like button for me, please. Let's get on to, I'm going to be honest about something. I know you guys want to talk about Partey, and we're going to get to Partey, all right? We're going to save him a little bit to the end. But I've got a confession to make. So I'm in a WhatsApp group with a bunch of Gooner women, and I've got to tell you, hand on heart, I was bitching about Mikel Merino. I was like, I don't see it. I don't get it. I haven't understood it. Harry Symeou and I talked about it on this show. Potsy as well. I mean, he's good, but you could just see in that first half missing Declan Rice. And I just didn't understand, resting Rice and resting MLS as well. I just thought go for it against Brentford. It's a London derby. And this was, before he scored, this was the slide I made. Mikel Merino, have we seen enough now? I just don't think he's good enough. And even though he scored the goal, let me know if you guys think I'm being too harsh. Because the other thing too, James, for me is when I was looking at Mbeumo and these Brentford players that they want us to buy, I'm like, they're not going to take you to the next level. They're squad players. You want to elevate to world class. You want to beat Liverpool, Manchester City. You want to win titles. You want to win the Champions League. Elevate to world class. Arsenal have good players. They have nice players. They have maybe 2 world-class players. If you want to elevate and you want to win things, you've got to buy world-class now. Edu said it in his interview, a season and a half ago. We want to now buy world-class players. Youth, project players. Tom Canton talked about it on the show earlier this week. LeGrove did. James did. We are not in a project phase. Football moves fast. It moves really fast. And we missed the window 2 seasons. Now a 3rd season. Liverpool have found a manager that can pick things up where Klopp left off. Maresca has Chelsea cooking again, even though they've had a couple of disappointing results. The season is still a long way to go. Manchester City, the team that can go on a run. And, you shouldn't doubt them just quite yet, even though they've been absolutely atrocious. It is about getting the right players in. And I could see glaringly, James, in that first half, people can moan all they want about Declan Rice, but my goodness, Merino is here and Rice is here. Talk to me.
Yeah, it's about the driving with the ball. He's too slow. He isn't like Rice in that you can get the mobility. Declan Rice can get a ball, and I know that with Josh the other week when we spoke about it, he's not necessarily the most neatest on the ball, Declan Rice. He needs to improve on it. But one thing you do know about him is he can get it and he can charge yards, and then he can drag people out with his pace. And then, like we've said earlier, he can leave a gap to slot somebody in. But first half, until the goal went in, I'm not necessarily blaming just Moreno for this, but all of them, to a T, they were trying to walk the ball into the net. It was like we were trying to score the perfect goal all the time. And it was like I messaged you on WhatsApp. It's absolutely chucking it down with rain. It's freezing cold. Have a shot, see if it bobbles, let's see what happens. You know, sometimes you've just got to get a bit simplistic. Whereas I think some of us would just, you know, some of the players in there at times, they're trying to be really, really neat, like overly neat when they don't need to be. And that can be very, very frustrating. I mean, yeah, I agree with what you and some of the people in the chat have said today. He got his goal, you know, glad for him, happy for him. But at the same point, I don't necessarily think he had an amazing, amazing game. But if the goal does him a world of good and then he carries on playing, I'm all for it. You know, we had Kai Havertz last season, got a header at Brentford, spurred him on, and he carried on. Look at what happened in the second half of the season. So if something like that can happen with Moreno, I'm all for it. But yeah, he wasn't fantastic by any means. And what we got told, what we bought him for, I haven't seen it. You know, dual monster. It doesn't, you know, tough in the tackle, hard in the battle. I'm like, it gets bypassed quite easy from what I see. I don't know. You know, I mean, we're talking about getting the Sociedad guy in as a director. I hope we do, because some of these players that we can't sell, if he can get lies out like he did with Moreno and get money for them, we'll be quids in. We'll be well up on the old PSR, because he's a marketing genius.
Lone Star, I think we just told you what might be wrong. Listen, and Harvey, tidy players. It's not going to win you the league. Beastly players win you the league. Tidy players are a compliment, but tidy players won't win you the league. I know we won today. I'm just saying that, like James just said, for the reasons why we were sold on why we got him, you just haven't seen all of that today. And yeah, maybe he was tidy today, but if it wasn't for Thomas Partey in midfield, I'm not quite sure what would have happened today. And I'd like to move in that area, because one of the crazy things is, talk about a yin-yang player. Thomas Partey today, I thought, in the absence of Declan Rice, James, was beastly. He won every second ball. He was totally dominant. It was the Thomas Partey that everybody has and says, you know, he's still one of the best midfielders in the league. He, I thought, won most of his duels and, you know, just proved why Mikel Arteta kind of sticks with him. I know that we're in this area where it's a contract year and we're not sure what's going to happen with Thomas Partey. But today, he gave the example of the best of him.
Yeah, he was superb today. Especially that first half. I thought he was one of the, especially in terms of trying to break that Brentford from pressing through. I thought he did really, really well. I mean, before their first goal, he wins the ball back magnificently to try and, you know, create something. And then obviously Odegaard makes that pass, loses it. And that's what obviously leads to the mistakes and keeps it going. But yeah, it's a shame, Sophie, from the point of view of, I think Thomas Partey arguably has been Arsenal's best midfielder this season. Yeah. However, I still wouldn't renew him, because he's only going to go one way. And like you said earlier about keeping, you know, you have to buy world class. I think you can find somebody that can do what Thomas Partey does, but is more mobile than him, because his mobility is not going to improve. It's only going to decline.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I'm Lone Star has my attention. You haven't told me what's wrong with Marino. Rewind it and listen again. Lone Star from Texas. Love you lots, but maybe you've had too many vodka shots today. I don't know. We did explain it. Partey must start in midfield in the 8 next to Rice. Yeah. But with Partey, I'm always waiting for the injury. But like someone said, no Ghana, all good, right? No African Cup of Nations, a little bit of a rest from the summer and earlier on in the year. Like Rich said, Partey was top class today. BX Ghana, no AFCON because Ghana have been terrible, has benefited so much. Mark says he was superb. I love this. YouTube user, no name, hiding behind the keyboard. Keep your mouth closed. You're no expert. All you people do is criticize the players. There's no criticism here. All right? We're just talking. But YouTube user, thanks for joining. Okay, Thomas Partey, as we all agree, very good. Talk about the yin and the yang of Partey. We saw some good, bad, and ugly from David Raya today. I've eaten crow on this one. No, Soph, you just thought you did. Okay, ask a specific question and we'll answer it. We said he's too slow. We haven't seen the beastly thing. We haven't seen the box-to-box stuff. We haven't seen enough goals that supposedly that he was able to bring from the midfield area. He hasn't been imposing. He hasn't been imposing in the air. You ask a specific question and we will answer it, okay? The good, the bad, and the ugly from David Raya today. He has been superb early on in the season, but I think there's been some moments also where simple shot stopping has eluded him a little bit. I'm not going to go hard on David Raya, but as the season goes, you want him to be giving the best of him. It seems like he started off brilliantly and maybe just a few kind of little things to be concerned about here or there, James. But like I said, we saw the good, the bad, and the ugly. Made a horrible mistake, but my goodness, he saved the day at the same time. Your take?
Yeah, the mistake. Oh my word! That there was a couple of replays over here on TNT who had the game, and it reminded me of the David Seaman from Paul Pescasado for Sheffield United, if you remember all them years back, where he clawed it. I was like, bloody hell! At first, I was like, don't make my heart do this, David. But he recovered it brilliantly, and you know what? Second half. I think something must have got into him at half time. I don't know what Arteta said to him at half time, but they completely, I mean, second half, he was superb. He nearly got an assist. That throw to Martinelli on the break, when their keeper come out, it was nearly an assist from him. So his distribution second half was so much more improved. But yeah, there are aspects of him lately that I've seen, Sophie, where I don't know if he's getting a bit too overly confident in himself. There was a period in the game versus Crystal Palace the other week where he was so high, and I was watching it going, I don't know when it's going to happen this season, but someone's going to lob you. A bit like how Ramsdale got lobbed in that Europa League. I'm like, someone is going to absolutely dink you when you do this. I don't know when it's going to happen, but I'm like, keep tabs on it because it's definite. Because I'm like, at times I feel like he wants to be a fifth centre back. Like he's like, I can play. So I want to get in there, and it's like, be a goalkeeper. You're a bloody good goalkeeper. Just being a good goalkeeper, man. Like
there was one point in that first half where he got the ball up almost to the halfway line, and I got very kind of agitatorish.
Yeah.
There are some people that aren't still sold on Raya. Our Change isn't. I've let's see, eaten crow and Ray. Maybe it was because it was Brentford, but he was rattled. He has, again. I'm nitpicking here. Don't take this the wrong way. I love David Raya. I have admitted that I was so wrong about David Raya. I've eaten crow. I've eaten humble pie. I've had it smashed in my face. I'm so happy about that. He has been brilliant. But there have been a couple of instances this season, maybe more than that, where, it's been a little bit dodge. That's all I want to say. Okay, let's move on to, let's see. A player who deserves his flowers right now. Jesus takes the wheel again. Great hustle. All you can ask for. It's his old club. It's natural. Yeah, I get that. But it's Brentford. Come on. Ray's playing the way Arteta wants him to play. Yeah, so when I say Martinelli's playing the way Arteta wants him to play, people don't want to hear that, but we're going to get to that as well. David Jesus, Gabriel Jesus, has been brilliant, I think, and I think he deserves his flowers. All you can ask is for people to step in. So no Havertz today. Some people were happy about that. In the first half, you could argue, we miss Havertz, right? In the second half, it was a little bit different. We played with a bit more pace. We were much more responsible on the ball. We tried to, you said to me, why aren't they shooting at the goalkeeper? It's wet, it's windy. Get your shots in. And the Thomas Partey shot, of course, Gabriel Jesus was in the right place at the right time. He hustled. I think that this was a perfect game of what Jesus does when he scores and when he doesn't off the ball. He deserves his flowers right now. Talk about stepping up and stepping in at a time when you needed him. But let's be honest, we weren't expecting this Jesus to turn up, James.
Yeah, and you know what? I'm so happy that he has. At the start of the season, we played. Who was it? We played pre-season over in America.
Manchester United or Bournemouth?
Bournemouth. That's it. It was Bournemouth, weren't it? And I remember Arteta after the game said the only person that can motivate Gabriel Jesus is himself. And you know what? I think now he's starting to believe that he can be that player for Arsenal. There's been times where I've watched him before he's had this small resurgence where he's playing every position but a number 9. But now, these last couple of games, he's staying up front, he's staying in the box, and he wants to, and he's also enjoying scoring goals again. I said it before, Sophie, when Aaron Ramsdale did that interview with Ian Wright, and he said he couldn't concentrate, and Ian Wright pulled the face at him. I had my head in my hands when I saw that. But then when also Jesus said, "Oh, I prefer assisting than I do scoring."
Scoring, yeah.
I was like, "What the hell? You're wearing a number 9. Like you're a centre forward. Like you shouldn't be. You want to be scoring as many goals as you can." Now, I know from the evidence that we've had that he might not be clinical or consistent. However, in the last couple of games, he's been fantastic. He's scored his goals. He's done his job. And you know what? He worked his arse off today. And I can't believe the booing that he got when his lip and nose were bleeding from being smashed in the face. He's being booed saying he's cheating when his nose and his lips are bleeding. And then second half as well, this guy rips his shirt completely down the middle like Hulk Hogan in the 80s in wrestling. And he gets the foul called on him and he's literally like, "Hey," he's like, "My shirt's ripped." Like, what are you talking
doing
about? Yeah, but no, he was very, very good. And I loved his goal, Sophie, because like I said before, I'll mention it again, he's thinking like a number 9 and he's enjoying scoring goals. And that's what you want, especially when you've got no Havertz and you've got no Saka. So who, when you see that on a lineup, you're going, right, who's replacing that goal and assists? Because there are 2 most consistent. There are 2 that gets the numbers. So who's coming in and doing it? And at the moment, it's him. So I hope it continues. I think, I'm really, really happy for him.
So let me ask you this, because there's a few people talking about Havertz. Do you keep Havertz on the bench and continue with Jesus, James? Does he slow us down? What are your thoughts?
I think I will see it how Arteta sees it, and that he's gone with Bukayo Saka out. If everyone is fit, I'm going to play all the players that I can that score goals. So whether we like it or not, he's going to put Havertz in as a midfielder. Because if you look at the 2 previous league games of Palace and Ipswich, Havertz was playing midfield, and okay, his goals come from him thinking like a 9 and being a 9, but he's going to play him as a midfielder. So today, if Kai Havertz wasn't unwell, he would be playing at 8 and not Moreno today. So I think you're going to have to, as much as I don't like him being an 8, I think you're going to have to like it and lump it, because that's what's going to be happening.
It seems to me that, come on, Yummy, please. The conversation hasn't gone to that level.
The pictures,
come on, man. You're just clickbaiting us now. If you put that in again, then I'll know you're definitely a clickbaiter. Listen to Tammy. Over 200 of you listening live. Hit the like button, kiss it, nut it, love it, cuddle it. It's New Year's Day. Let's start off with positivity and love. Some of you telling me and James to lay off Calafiori, lay off Marino. Listen, you want to win, kids. We're just talking about elevating the game. That's all. What we're saying is it's evident maybe. Rice, superior. More midfield control. MLS, young, sure. Superior maybe to Calafiori defensively. If Mikel wants to play that game and he wants us to have possession-based football and he wants us to be more frugal with the ball, then Miles Lewis-Skelly makes more sense at this point than Calafiori. And of course, Calafiori's getting used to the league. He's been injured. We're not bashing him. We're just talking, elevating the game. The beautiful thing is, if he can stay fit, the choices that Mikel has at the back are great. But if he could stay fit, that would be a superb thing. Notice how we're not talking about Gabriel, Saliba or Timber. Absolutely brilliant, superb. I mean, salt of the earth players. Just absolutely reliability. Talk about the backbone of the team, especially with Saka out and Odegaard not firing on all cylinders today. Not going to kill Odegaard today. Something hasn't quite been right since he's become a father. Jesus found out he was pregnant, worked well. Havertz found out he was pregnant, worked well. Maybe giving birth takes its toll on, those sleepless nights. Hopefully he's not the one getting up at night, taking care of the kid. Listen, I'm a woman. I'm just saying, like, when you're playing football, you need to make sure that your head's in the game. And Odegaard's head, in a nutshell, James, just missing something right now.
Yeah, for me, I thought he had a poor game today, Odegaard. Some of his final third decision making is just, just not what I see from him normally. There are times for me where Martin Odegaard can not only be the best player in the Arsenal side, he could be the best player in the league. But I don't think he believes it enough. I don't think he gets on that pitch sometimes and goes, "I am the best player." It's just it baffles me what he does, especially this season since he's come back from that injury. He's really, really not been the guy for me. When he got injured, Saka took the armband and the mantle and carried us through. Now the shoe's on the other feet. I'm looking at Odegaard going, "Come on, like let's have it from you now, and let's see what it's all about." And he's not delivering for me. Of course, I still want him to play and I still want him to, produce. But I can only go off what I'm seeing. And what I'm seeing at the moment is him not at his best.
We were talking about what players missed Odegaard when he was out, and I put this question up and, does he miss Saka? Some folks talking about him missing a number 9 as well in this game. By the way, who is this? Lion Child Music. Who are these two sounding like Lee Gunner? Are you serious, mate? I don't know where you've come from. But if you think this is a rubbish podcast, you're here listening, you're welcome to leave. In fact, why don't I just show you the door? Don't compare us to Lee Gunner, who, by the way, has his style, does what he does. Don't agree with it. But you go right ahead and compare what we do here at the Highbury Squad with, I don't know, I've never seen you before in our chat. So why don't you just, jog on, as Ray Winstone would say, if you don't like it. There are a few trolls in the chat tonight. Mike Hertzy here with the comments. Arteta on Nwaneri in that position, it wasn't because of the bug. It was because he was the best player to play in that position. We love it. You know what? My red cards are in my office. I don't have them here with me. But, there's red cards and then there's banning. And I think that's where that one lies. Okay, let's finish on another positive here. Martinelli. So this is why you still have to believe in Gabby. What a beautifully taken goal. Loved seeing him celebrate. Loved seeing the energy. Talk about confidence. This is the Gabriel Martinelli we all know and love. I thought he had a really good game today, James. Fair or foul, do you agree with me? Is Big Gabby, is this one of his best games this season?
I think it's one of his best halves. I think second half, like a lot of them, so much better than they were in the first. But yeah, what a goal, by the way. Just absolute smash the ball as hard as you can. Get in that net. Lovely. Really, really happy for him. He needs that. Again, I hate repeating myself, but when you lose Bukayo Saka and those goals and assists, people have to take the mantle. And if he's going to still pull up numbers, then fantastic. You know, I'm very, very, very happy for him to get that, because he needs that. So, yeah, I was happy for him. I thought it was a better game, but there are still instances with his final third decision making, Sophie, where, and again, I know it's very easy for people in the chat. I might actually listen to what we're saying because I'm not digging him out, but there are instances where he's in the final third where I can only sit here and think, what has possessed you to think that was the best decision to make? Honestly, I get baffled. I get baffled as to how he thinks that part. There was one where Calafiori, I think it was 3 or 4 yards offside, and yet he still passed to him over everybody else that was there. And it was just like, how did you think that? And that's when Arteta, when he was coming back down, Arteta was screwing at him. And I'm like, yeah, he for me, he is the player that probably Arteta critiques the most out of everybody. Even when I've been at games live and I've sat, you know, I've been lucky to sit right behind where we are or our technical area. He's constantly going, Gabby. He's the, you know, there might, if Martinelli was a bit braver, I'd turn around and go, shut up and leave me alone. But obviously he's not going to do that. But yeah,
Right.
he's got to be the guy he critiques the most, because he probably knows how good of a player. We all know how good of a player he is. And yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, he needs to believe in himself more. And because you don't become a terrible player overnight, but there are still instances with him where I get so baffled as to what he thinks is the right decision.
Yeah, I agree with Julian as well and others. We know that his delivery has to be better, but he scored a great goal today and we won 3-1. And we can nitpick. He hasn't been great this season, but nobody really has been great this season. I think Thomas Partey, Raya early on, and SAKA have probably been our best players. And I would say Big Gabby, who doesn't get the flowers that he does. I think Big Gabby's been better than Saliba this season. I really do.
100% agree with you. Yeah.
So yeah. All right, let's get to here's the scoop. If you're listening on replay, and everyone, you can chime in with any more thoughts that you haven't shared on today's show. We talked about the starting 11. Let us know if you disagree or agree with that. Was it right to rest Rice and Lewis Skelly in hindsight? Yes, I write a lot of these questions as the game is unfolding. Is Miles Lewis Skelly a better option than Calafiori? Does Jesus deserve more respect right now? By the way, I forgot to put this up. One of my favorites, Saving Private Raya. You know, there was a little bit of a good, bad, and ugly from him. Does Odegaard miss Saka? Let's get on to the gaffer, James. How did Mikel do today? What are your thoughts about Mikel against Brentford? When you win, it's hard to criticize the manager or say too much. But subs and in-game management, it seemed in the second half we were in control and it was an easier game for him to maybe manage.
Earned his flowers because, like I mentioned, I don't know what he said to him at half time, but they come out and they showed up. That, you know, they showed up and showed out. So yeah, I can't have no real digs at Mikel Arteta today. The subs that he made, okay, when you're winning like that, they're quite easy to make. But they was, you know, none of the subs come on and did poorly, in my opinion. So yeah, no problem whatsoever. And to go there, like he's meant, like Mikey put the comments up there. That's a hard, you know, other than Nottingham Forest,
yeah,
they've been fantastic at home.
Their home record's been amazing, one of the best in the league.
Yeah, and to go there without two of our biggest attacking threats and still pull a 3-1 out, superb. So yeah,
and James, and let's not kid ourselves. Let's not kid ourselves. Players that some of our fans want us to sign, we silenced them tonight. That's why I'm saying be very careful about what you want in the transfer market. Who you think elevates you, who takes you to the next level.
I'd still buy Mbeumo, Sophie. I would love Mbeumo in this team. I'd love Mbeumo in this team.
I thought he took his goal well, but it was from a mistake. Still had to finish it. David Raya, you could say, was questionable on the shot, but he wasn't really given much of a chance. But again, like, does he take us to the next level? Is he like for like? you need next level players. And for me, he's not next level. But we'll be talking about that throughout January. No doubt about it.
I agree with that statement. However, do Arsenal in this January window have next level player money, Sophie? Because for me, I'm like, you need somebody right now. Even before these injuries, you needed to get somebody. Now these injuries have happened, you need to do it even more. And I know I would love Isak, I would love Kudus, but I don't think we're spending that kind of money.
They're too expensive. Not in January. Yeah. That's not happening.
You need to look and pivot like you did before with Jorginho and with Trossard to maybe a cheaper option. And I look at Mbeumo and I think, what is it, 10 goals he's got this season and 6 or so assists?
Maybe.
I think 18 months left on his contract. You offer 55, maybe 55, 60 mil there. For me, he'd do the job. He would do the job until...
I would rather keep giving Nwaneri the opportunity, interchanging with Martinelli on the right, Gabriel Jesus. I think they're better players than... I think some players shine in less talented teams. And I actually think Kudus might be one of those players. And I think Mbeumo might be one of those players. Come at me, tell me I'm crazy. But I want Arsenal fans to think next level. You're talking about a world-class player in SAKA, right? Nwaneri, you roll the dice, he's fearless, right? He knows the Arsenal. But when you're talking about having competition in the team and elevating and trying to win a league, you need to be thinking next level. And right now, I just think that it's very difficult when you're trying to find a player that can reach that level. But because Arsenal have good pieces around that can help, and have that versatility, I just think that certain players in certain teams aren't at that level, and they get lost.
If you look at Liverpool, Sophie, would you have said that Jota when he was at Wolves, Gakpo when he was at PSV, Nunes at Benfica, Diaz at Porto, I believe. Some of them players they didn't come from what we'd class as top 5 leagues. And yet
but Trossard is like a Jota. Like, he hasn't been as prolific, but I saw in Trossard, I was team Trossard from the get-go, right?
Yeah,
I wasn't sold into this Mudryk thing. There are certain players, I don't know why. Is the Mbeumo thing... Is he a Pepe? I'm not talking about the same money, but may look good. There's something about it I just don't trust, right? I like Marmoush, and a lot of people think I'm crazy for liking, Marmoush and I'm probably bastardizing his name, so I'm sorry, from Eintracht Frankfurt. I like watching a little bit of Bundesliga. They're third. He's been player of the month twice. I think, he's the reason why they're in third. And I get it. Like, some people may say, well, Brentford are 10th or 11th or whatever. But Marmoush, to me, is a player that puts a team on his league. I would rather go after the kid at Southampton, the Vicar of Dibley. Yeah.
Yeah, Dibbling. Yeah. He's a great player.
That's, I don't know. We're going to have plenty of time to discuss this, by the way. And I know I'm going to get pelters, but that's fine. Okay. Overall, the whole team, what are you giving, James?
Yeah, fantastic. Yeah, I'll give him a big 10.
Yeah. For me today, it's all about the points, but we also got a really good performance in the second half. First half was really worrying. We were all thinking we've seen this movie again against Fulham, West Ham, Aston Villa. But whatever happened at halftime, credit to Mikel Arteta, credit to the team. They dug themselves out of a draw hole and they went on to totally dominate that game. I didn't fear anything in the second half, whereas in the first half, I had that dreaded fear. But in the second half, we felt like a little bit of a last season Arsenal and the season prior. So the fact that they were able to make adjustments and improve is really a good thing. And these were the types of games that, we've dropped points, but against a very good Brentford team, we were able to go on and win. So, yeah, for me, 3 points, keep the pressure on Liverpool. It's not over till the fat referee blows the whistle, 10 out of 10. Let me know. Lone Star Marino sends his love. Welcome on the show. Speaking of the show, right, here we go. I set a we've got 2 announcements. The big one is coming up in just a second. Maybe you guys will think it's big. I think it's big, but maybe not. Couldn't think of a better person to have on the show and share it with. Dibley or Delap? Yeah. It's Dibbling, isn't it? But I like it. He's the Vicar of Dibley. But by the way, what a great show. Drum roll, please. Okay. So I set a competition and the prize was the Arsenal Invincibles coin collection with the certificate of authenticity. It's a beautiful, beautiful thing. Thanks to our friends at ZENITH Coins. It's a beautiful package. It really is very special. And I asked for your stories and you guys sent them in. But I have to say, and I wish I did have the drum roll. I always do that for Magic Mike on Gooners v Cancer, but somehow today I've let myself down. What do you know? So on this New Year's Day, to start it off positively, I would like to announce that the winner of the Arsenal Invincibles coin collection, courtesy of our good friends at ZENITH Coins, is Runs with Cows. Runs with Cows, who has been a very early listener of the show, sent in a story, okay, that I'm going to have to read out one day in its entirety. I did tell you guys no more than 500 words, but this was absolutely classic, right? He grew up as a Leyton Orient fan, and his granddad, who he loved dearly, was a Leyton Orient fan. And he used to go to see Leyton Orient, and they used to get battered all the time. And, you know, he and a mate of his used to go, like, meet together and go to games, James. And his granddad passed away. And he started, like, getting a interest in the Arsenal, right? And Runs with Cows, well done, by the way. His mum turns around to him one day and she's like, I don't understand why you guys keep on going to like Leyton Orient. Didn't you notice like granddad's cannon tattoo on his arm? So he's turns out his granddad was the milkman at Highbury. I mean, this story is unbelievable. It's such a great story. And and he was known as Arsenal's biggest fan. They used to deliver milk to Highbury. And there's a little bit more to it as well, but I loved it. I was giggling. I was choking up while reading it as well. He fell in love with the Arsenal after that. His mum said, because I think she was a Leyton Orient fan, she goes, why do you think I used to let you go to the Arsenal? Because she hated Arsenal. I mean, it was just this real freaking amazing story. And
will they come on and tell it?
I think he should. I think he should come on, and I would reveal his real name, but I'm not going to do that. And I just want to go back up here because I think he's in chat. If I don't win, says Hertzy, it's a riot. You didn't win, but you always come up with the best quotes, and we'll share some of them. Hannah's congratulating anyone but Newman. Cows. Congratulations, Run with Cows. Wow, there you go. There you are. Wow. And look at all the love you're getting. Congrats. That's great. It's such a good story. Thank you for sharing it with me. And you are the winner of the Invincibles collection. Well done. I hope that has made you happy and got your year off to a great start. It is so good. Maybe you can promise to come on and tell the story because I'm sure you'll tell it a lot better than me. All right, I'm not done with the good news. It is so funny. And by the way, I used to love the milkmen, the clinking bottles back in the day. Do they still do that in England? Do you still get milkmen delivering milk, James?
My dad does. I don't know anyone else other than my dad who does, but yeah, he still gets proper milk delivered by the milkman.
Ah, I love it. Okay, so another one for you here, guys. You ready for this one? So, as you know, I always try to bring you the best guests on the Highbury Squad. And I couldn't think of a better guest to come during the January transfer window. Set your calendars for 6:45 p.m. on January the 14th. That is a Tuesday. Joining Squad Central will be none other than the legend that is Mr. David Ornstein. That is correct. David Ornstein joining Squad Central on January 14th at 6:45 p.m. You're going to have to be on your best behavior because we have football royalty in-house. David is a top shelf human, and he'll be joined as well by one of our favorites, Rebecca Lowe. So we've got the crack NBC team coming on the show on January the 14th. David Ornstein will be joining Squad Central, and you will not want to miss that. So get your questions ready. We're going to dive into what it's like to be going through it as a journalist, talking about his career a little bit, and maybe he will share some intel with us, along with Lady Lowe, as we like to call her here in the United States. What do you think about that, Super James?
That's superb. What an announcement to make. I mean, normally we're all waiting for what David Ornstein announces, but you've done it. You've out Ornstein, Sophie. So well played. you know, that's a talent. There's many feathers to your bow, Sophie, as many Arsenal fans can attest to. But yeah, to out Ornstein, you got the scoop on the first day of the year. So well played. Well done.
I love it. By the way, what you've just said, I should clip that. I should absolutely clip that. So don't miss that. January 14th. Of course, we've got some other shows coming up before that. But I wanted to let you guys know because it's New Year's Day and last year was pretty shit. And so I'm determined to start it off with an absolute bang. And yes, David Ornstein will be joining the show. Super James. What say you for what you've got coming up, sir? Everyone can follow James at LLCallJames91 and let everyone know what's happening in your life, what you got coming up.
Yes, I will be back on my channel because I've missed 4 games, so I need to put something out there. And then apologies for whatever reason. Whenever I'm in my house on my own, my electronics seem to set them. My TV's just unmuted itself from the other room, so if you can hear that, hopefully it's not loud enough that you don't get a copyright claim. Yet someone's put their haircut. No, it's too early in the year. I go twice every 7 or so months. But yeah,
Yanto says you look like a cast member from Monty Python. I think
you
may have just said that. What one?
Yeah, I'll take that. Yeah, for me, there will be, if you've enjoyed what I've said and you want to watch more, then obviously, like you've put up there, the Twitter handle, X handle, whatever it's called now, whatever Elon decides it's called this week. And then all my links are on there. So yeah, just if you enjoyed it, great. If not, sorry. I told you when you get me on, it's Marmite FC. It's either yes, or get him off and sack him. Never have him on again. So
this is freak. You know what, James? You've been brilliant, and I've been maybe a little harsher than I have over the last few months, even though we won 3-1. But I'm at that edge of like next level because it's January. You know what I'm saying?
When
I love the players.
So close, Sophie, the expectation goes up. That's what I keep saying to people. I'm like, actually listen to what we're saying.
Yeah.
Because we're not, you're not being nasty for nasty's sake. It's like Tammy put in the chat earlier. It's all constructive criticism. Because like at the end of the day, I've said it time and time again. I'm a guy that was sitting eating cookies and drinking Pepsi Max. Do you really think I've got the right to critique elite level athletes? I don't. But, just actually listen to what we're saying.
Exactly. Well said, James. Right. Is it Wednesday today?
It is.
So
Last time I checked.
We played Brighton Saturday or Sunday?
Yeah, no Timber, by the way, because he got that booking, didn't he? If he managed the game without a booking, he would have still been in, and then the cards would have been reset. But yeah, tell you what, just quickly, I'll throw it out there. What a performance for him on a yellow card. I mean, he's always a 7 or 8 out of 10 anyway, but yeah, brilliant.
Yeah. Let's see. Someone said they're having a hard year. I don't know. Yeah. Let's see. You're right, Soph. Last year was very shit. I got cancer and then another. And my dad had the same. Listen, also been fighting to save my marriage. Okay, listen, we send our love, and you are an OG and you've been around here listening to the Highbury Squad for a while. And as you can see from the responses, you're getting a lot of love. That is what we do in this community. I wrote a letter to you guys on the community page. If you missed it yesterday, please go read it. Last year would never have been possible without each and every one of you. I love you so much, and your love kept me going. I didn't want to carry on. I didn't want to do the show. I had no heart for it. I had no passion for it. I was at a real low, a lot of loss last year, and it took its toll on me. But people around you help you, and find comfort in this community. Reach out. I'm always available, thehighburysquad@gmail.com. You can email me anytime, and many of you have done over the last year. And I know for a lot of people, it's been tough to come back to the show. And I get that. You don't want to be reminded of death. And, I say that as honestly as I possibly can. And I hope that somehow through the guests, through the stories, through everything that we've been trying to do, there's a corner to be turned. And you start to look at things with a little bit more joy. You start to look at the legacy and the things that we want to keep going. So this is a new year. It's a blank canvas. We have the power to tell stories. We have the power to paint our own football pictures. But at the same time, we have each other. And from all corners of the earth, from my crazy Australian listeners to the, balmy Brits, to our Asian listeners, to our listeners in Africa. And we have so many wonderful listeners in Africa, the rest of Europe, these grand United States of America. And I'm sending love to our Arsenal America group in New Orleans, because today we saw again how we should not take every day for granted, and that nothing is a given. And just to be able to be there for each other and spread love. And we're sending our love, especially to my good friends Tiffany and Stephen at No Laguna, who you'll know, who designed all of our gear, locals in NOLA, who are finding it really difficult at this time to comprehend what happened today. So we start the year with love, with positivity. We have given away a very special piece to Runs with Cows. We've got David Ornstein coming up on January 14th with Rebecca. And at the same time, I would like to also give our Chief Like Officer, Tammy Steels, the coin of her choice. She has held this group together really, really well. She always shows up. She is just a wonderful human being. And so, Tammy, you'll let me know, send me a message, which coin you would like, and it is all yours. And you know what? On the next show, I'm also going to give away even more coins to some OGs who are always in chat, who are always listening, and who deserve a little something as well. So we start 2025 with nothing but positivity, nothing but love. We're unbeaten in 2025, James. We're going to get behind our team. We love our players. No matter what happens in the January transfer window, we will be rooting for the Arsenal no matter what. I love every single one of you kids. All right. Don't you forget that. And thank you so much again for being there. Tammy, well done. Tell Newman. He missed it today. I was going to do a poll and ask everyone if he deserves the coin, because Lee Judges and Dan Potts are really trying to twist my arm. I know that certain someone still wouldn't want him to have it, James, for sure. And my brother from down under right here, our Aussies are always sending great vibes to everyone. We love Sophie and her lovely guests. Thanks, bro. Good to see you in chat. Go on, James.
Look, I can never feel the big man's shoes, and I will never try to feel the big man's shoes. But Sophie, years and years ago, I come on here, one of my first ever times. And afterwards, when all this finishes, sometimes we stay on and we have a little chat and a catch up afterwards. But there was one particular episode, I can't remember what game it was or whatever, but after it, Kev said to me, I'll try and not get emotional here. He said to me, James, he said, a lot of people in this space of YouTube and podcasting and what have you, they see football in black or white, but you see it in colour. And I think that's one of the nicest compliments to have an ex-professional footballer say that to me is one of the nicest things I've ever had anybody ever say to me, probably ever. and I will never forget. That's lived with me ever since. And the big man would never give would never give Newman a coin. And so, for me, if the big man says no coin, I'm going to have to say no coin. So, you know, he took that to his grave, that Newman weren't getting a coin. So it stays that way. I'm sorry. That's just how it goes.
I actually think he would be really mad at me if I gave him a coin.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to do it. Oh, brilliant stuff. Okay, kids.
If that's what he says, that's what he says.
That's what he says.
No coin.
Totally. Brilliant stuff. Thank you so much for joining. A little longer than I had imagined, but when you want to give out stuff and make people happy this New Year's Day, that's exactly what we're going to do. Don't forget to go follow James at LL Cool James 91. Give his show a subscribe. Give his brother's music a go as well. If you go follow James, you can check out some good tunes.
Thank you so much. Well. He'll love that. He'll love that.
What's his handle? What's his handle?
It should be. It might be L Wanstone or Wanstone. Okay. I should really know. As his brother, I should really know. I feel bad now.
We'll put it in the description of the show as well. By the way, everyone's agreeing. They're like, Kev would haunt me forever if I gave Newman a coin. All right, kids, well done. Brilliant win today. Happy New Year to everyone. Keep your eyes on the community page for our next live show. James, thank you again for joining me. You are salt of the earth human being. Thanks for being here. Don't forget, January 14th, David Ornstein on the Highbury Squad with Lady Low. Royalty in the house. Until then, kids, don't forget to tell your loved ones you love them. And a big shout out to my Tony, Vinny and Vesper for being the lighthouse in the storm. Love you lots. Good night, everyone.
Mind the gap between the train and the platform. Please stand clear of the discussion doors. The next stop is Highbury Squad.
I do love the notes about Newman being in jail in India. It's just freaking brilliant.